Give it up for Sister Realness.
Keep me walking on the same line. When we get high, in my breakdown. We just watching from the same time. But that don't change when I break down. Think we were talking about the same crime. No, it don't hurt when I raise down. Learn my lesson at the same time. Ooh, 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 where did it go? There goes heaven first. God is with my heart. Never gonna cry anymore. Where did it all keep me walking on the same line? When we get high, when I break down. We just watching from the same time. But that don't change when I break down. Think we were talking about the same crime. No, it don't hurt when I raise down. Learn my lesson at the same time. Ooh, 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 where did it go? There goes heaven first. God is with my heart. Never gonna cry anymore. Where did it all go? Let it go. Let it go. Ooh, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Ooh. Oh, there goes heaven first. God is with my heart. Never gonna cry anymore. Where did it all go? Let it go. Let it go. Ooh, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Where did it all go? There goes heaven first. God is with my heart. Never gonna cry anymore. Where did it all go? There goes heaven first. God is with my heart. Never gonna cry anymore. Where did it all go? There goes heaven first. God is with my heart. Never gonna cry anymore. Where did it all go?
Hellfire is a cool t-shirt. Take a seat on my sofa. Baby, we got bills to pay. That won't make you happy. You ain't no celebrity, honey. You ain't no celebrity, honey. You ain't no celebrity, honey.
Hey kids, I kind of feel like that at the end when he's like just walking off, everyone freezes, everything's quiet. That's how I feel in crypto. Sometimes when everyone leaves, everyone's lost their money, party's over. And sometimes I feel that way in this, cheers. Oh, you can't see it. There you go. Sometimes I feel that way in this project because we got these lulls where we're really busy. We're getting stuff out to audit. We're getting code finished. We're getting the front end built, design done, and documents like the ones we shared the other day. And yeah, it's like, okay, well, party's over. It's all quiet now. And there's that lull, you know. But anyways, let's go to agproject.io, my favorite website in the whole world. And as you can see, we have 20 minutes left on the 25th day of the countdown to get 11x bonus points from the Wishwell. So we're in the Wishwell era right now. And yeah, go connect your wallet there, register. We got another registration. We have 120 wallets on Pulse Chain, and we still have 18 wallets on Base that are connected. So, that being said, we are on day 74 of the Wishwell project. We've got about 25 days left of this era. And this has been a real fun time to kind of show you guys our vision and information. I shared way too much information yesterday on our stream. And so we're going to leave that one up for like 72 hours. And then we're going to take it down both from X and from YouTube. We've got Derek in the house from Bet on Pulse. What's up, Derek? We've got Cody in the house with nerd glasses on. Thank you very much. Shout out to John J. UK for the recommendation there of Jungle back in 74 there. I guess he went and checked them out. They're on tour right now in Europe, and he said they had an absolutely amazing show. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, I have some stuff I can read you from the book. We've been working on the book pretty well, getting through some fleshing out some parts, if you will. So I might jump in there and share with you guys. The link to join this stream, as always, is in Telegram. So if you're in our Telegram, t.me/anti-gravity saga, all one word, all English, kind of long. And yeah, you can jump in here in the green room, hang out with us, see what's going down, and watch this clock roll over, because today doesn't feel like a very momentous occasion, and it's not, to be honest. We're waiting for audits are being done right now. I was actually communicating with some of the auditors that were asking questions about some of the 5 smart contracts in audit right now. And they're like, hey, what does this thing do? And we're like, oh, it does this. We're like, yeah, we know it does this, but why? And I was like, oh, okay, this is the purpose behind it. And so that was cool that they're combing through those 5 smart contracts. We have 6 other smart contracts written, ready to go into audit next. Obviously, we got to get these first ones done because the next ones kind of hinge on those and lean and refer to those. So yeah, there's a few things that we got to get done before we can get some more things done. But the audit's going by pretty quickly, and we're excited to share the results with you guys. So that's going on today. That's cool. Like I said, I really fleshed out 2 new characters in the book. I don't know if you guys are already aware or have met our main character is Cole Nova. You know, big astronaut, cool dude, crazy past. And then we have his sidekick, Heavy Hitter, also known as Ricardo Corazon. And that's a fun name. And we got Bit Boy, the cybernetic chimpanzee with with claws that come out of his arms like mantis blades. Here, let me switch to him for a second. Here's our buddy Bit Boy Leroy, and I'm just gonna go down really low so you guys can check him out. He's pretty badass. He's a lot of fun. He's a very interesting assistant that they have that hangs out with Cole Nova and Heavy Hitter. And then we have these other 2 characters that are going on the mission with them, and kind of went into their background and give them a little bit more depth of character, and we'll see how things develop with them on the spaceship and throughout this journey. So might read some of that to you guys right now. Again, if anyone shows up in the green room, pull them up, have a chitty chat. Let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, I mean, I spilled so many beans on that last episode that we're taking down, that if you guys have not checked it out, check it out. I see there's 12 people here, which is about how many people were here last time when I spilled the beans before the replay gang. So you guys are probably our day ones. You guys are like the loyal guys that show up to all of our streams, all of our information. You guys are, I'm pretty sure, definitely in the collective. The collective is made up of people that have connected their wallet to the Wishwell. And you can go there, connect your wallet. You have to register your wallet for it to spin up these NFTs. It spins up this Wishwell receipt with some points. Right now, all we know about these points is that they're good to give you a rank inside the collective, which is our group. And the higher your rank, the better the rewards in real life and online. So that's kind of like the base of this community. And the whole purpose of the Anti-Gravity Project, its sole purpose, its main purpose, this is not its sole purpose, its main purpose is to create the best community in crypto, which is like, that's an audacious goal. Because there's some amazing communities that we're already a part of. Pulse Chain community, No Permissions, Crypto Coffee's got a crazy great community inside of there, Fashion Coder, and the DGen Roundtable. I could go on and on. There's all these little sub communities that we are good friends with. The DGen protocol with Black Sheep, Crypto Black Sheep, definitely one of our homies for sure. And Crypto Sloth. I actually now feel like I need to do a roll call of all these people that you guys are already very familiar with, I'm sure. If you don't know any of those guys, look them up, follow them on Twitter, follow them on YouTube. Just insane amount of information and content that they put out. Good stuff. But yeah, this is where we're at right now. We're going to count down. We're getting ready for Era 2, which is the mining era. And in the mining era, you guys get to mine the DarkX token. And if you go back to some of our recordings, you'll read that DarkX token, the DarkX substance, that matter, that material, is highly volatile, highly unstable. I mean, that stuff, it caused a catastrophe, really, the mishandling of it. And so it's going to be interesting to open that up and let people mine the DarkX token. And we'll be mining that for 6 weeks. First 2 weeks, you get a 33x bonus. Second 2 weeks, you get a 22x bonus. And then the last 2 weeks, you get an 11x bonus, just like we're at right now in the Wishwell 11x bonus right now. Now, if you participate in more than one era, you get a multiplier on top of your bonus, which is sweet. If you of 2x, and then you get a 4x multiplier if you participate in all three eras, the Wishwell era, the mining era, and the minting era. Because after the 6 weeks of mining, we're going to have a 1 week claim phase where everyone's going to be, shored up and tallied up. And then we're going to go live. And as soon as we go live, you guys will have 30 days to come to agproject.io and mint your anti-gravity NFTs. So you need one whole token to mint one whole NFT, just one for one straight across. You're going to be competing with the evil address, as we talked about yesterday. It's got the majority of the tokens. It's going to be doing the majority of the minting and trying to sequester all that power and economic energy in our ecosystem. Just like in the book Rings of Dust that I've been working on, that I was writing today and working on the revision. You've got Alpha Omega Corp, which is, they're psychopaths, to be quite frank and honest. And you have the Federation, which is kind of like NASA. They're trying to do the right thing, but they've really been usurped. They've really been taken over by the Alpha Omega Corp. And unfortunately, they're kind of being taken advantage of. And then you have the collective, which is the people that are partying with us. And the collective are the people fighting to fix that balance of power, that monopoly, that theft, if you will, of those resources and that power. And so, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff in the book is going to be playing out in the ecosystem and vice versa. We got a few surprises and twists and turns for you guys along the way. that I think is going to make this a lot of fun, very engaging. And at the end of the day, we're going to try to cause the greatest token crisis that crypto has ever seen. We're going to a supply of 0 dark matter tokens liquid in people's wallets. And that's the rapture. That happens, don't worry, that takes 9.5 years to happen. So you got a little time to get your affairs in order for the rapture. But when that rapture hits, it's going to delete every dark token in the world, all million of them, if there still are a million at that point. And it's going to respawn the dark matter tokens inside the addresses that benefit the community. So we're talking about, obviously, the giveaway address. We're talking about the rewards address. We're talking about liquidity providers and things of that nature. So there's all this cool stuff baked into it. I really don't know how many tokens are going to be on the market besides liquidity providing. At that point, there's not a lot that are hitting the market in the beginning. And most of the tokens that hit the market after that, they're going to be in the giveaways. So if you don't mint an NFT, you're not eligible for the giveaways for the 90-day party that follows every minting window. And so there's some people that are going to get some silly payouts from the rewards. The rewards and the giveaways. The giveaways. The rewards are, they're a little bit like slower coming, but the giveaway address, is exhausted every 90 days. So all the tokens in that giveaway address are going to be given away every 90 days. Boom, and then it fills up with the next minting phase and it's exhausted again. So there's going to be a lot of fun people going after those tokens because I don't think there's going to be a lot on the market. I don't think there's going to be a lot available because we're going for scarcity and, we're doing the opposite of unit bias. For those of you that don't know what unit bias is, it's the idea that you want more of something than less of something. People used to, be able to buy a $10 Bitcoin, $100 Bitcoin, $1,000 Bitcoin. And at that point, it was like, oh yeah, most people can afford one whole Bitcoin. And then it went up to 70 grand. Very few people can afford to throw 70 grand into crypto and hold one whole Bitcoin. And so we see all these tokens come out that have a much higher supply. I mean, I think there's about 18 or 19 million Bitcoin right now. And so these people came out with trillions, billions of Dogecoin and other things that inflate. There's just such a huge supply that the price is fractions of a penny. And when a token costs fractions of a penny, you can buy millions and billions of them for, hundreds or thousands of dollars. And it makes people feel rich. Unit bias is like, oh my gosh, I've got X number of Doge. I've got X number of Pulse. I've got X number of, you name it. And that's great because if it ever goes to a penny, you've 100x, 1000x your money, which is the name of the game in crypto, is like, how many X's can I get? But at the same time, there's another game to be played. We're going the other direction than that. We're going to be more along the lines of Bitcoin, where in the future, unless you win the giveaways, it might take a large amount of money to capture one whole dark matter token. And we've have some ideas and some game theory and stuff to play when it gets to that point, if it gets to that point. But before that, people are going to be trading these. SAC price maybe somewhere between $1 and $10 a token, I'm guessing. And, that's most people can afford that. Most people can buy those tokens and mint the very first journey. But a lot of other people, as time goes on and if that price goes up with the bull market or scarcity or whatever happens, it's going to be harder to get a hold of one whole token, possibly. So yeah, and there's a good when I take the when I take the alpha stream down, as you can see, day 74. Did you catch the alpha? I'm referring to yesterday's stream. Jeez, yeah. If you catch that alpha there, we're going to take that down in like I said, in about, let's see, it was 72 hours, but now it's about 48 hours. We're going to be taking that down. And when we take that down, we'll make an announcement about the wish well that we haven't shared with everybody. That's, going to make a lot of people that have taken action and joined the community and thrown some money in the wish well. It's going to make them very happy. So look forward to that. Also, when we get closer to an exact date of the mining era, we're going to reset this clock that you guys see before you on the screen. It's counting down. We got 4 minutes left in the 25th day. And this clock is going to roll over at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And that is when that's when the things are going to happen with the 15-day minting period, the 90-day party, the giveaways that are set to happen every 9 days. We'll be here hanging out with you guys and seeing who gets what, how it all shakes out. And so we'll be resetting this clock when we have a more definite date of the beginning of Era 2. And so watch for that, obviously. And join us in Telegram. Ask your questions, things like that. We are probably going to be sharing a bunch more of the book in Telegram so that people that want a chance to edit it, review it, or just, comb it for Easter eggs of the tokenomics and game theory, it's going to be there. And then we will be probably offering and rewarding people for their help with finishing and editing the book, which is great. And we'll probably also, at that point, we'll be asking people to take parts of the book and create art out of the storyline and the characters and some of the scenes and situations in the book. And those are the pieces of art that we want to use in some of the NFTs coming forward, because we have a handful of NFTs to get started, and probably a couple years worth of NFT art pieces. But it would be really great to get as many of these as possible from the community, because we have an incredibly talented community on X and on Telegram of people that are amazing with AI art, with Photoshop, with Adobe Illustrator. They just make some really cool pieces of art, and we would love to use those in our NFTs, and we would love to reward those people for their work getting chosen. So that being said, I think I'm going to jump into a piece of the book right now. And if you guys have any questions, throw them up in chat. But I'm going to probably read a little bit here for you all and see where this goes. In fact, this is an introduction of a couple of more of the characters. It's in the rough draft right now, subject to change. However, I think you guys will enjoy the dynamics of these two people. Actually, you know what? I'm going to read another exchange that kind of gives you an idea of them, and then I'm going to jump to the backstory, or kind of like So I'm just going to start reading. Cody says, "Don't show tell." Like, he's like, just read it. You're explaining too much. Explaining too much. So I'll read about these two characters. If you guys have an idea of what you think they look like or what they sound like or act like, feel free to throw some art in our Telegram as well. So this is after... Oh, this is actually the part that I was missing before. So I'm going to read a little bit more about Dark X and Dark Matter and the creation of the fuel cells and the NFTs, basically. Oh, hey, we're down to 54 seconds left on the clock. Is this kind of like... I feel kind of like New Year's Eve every time this goes down. I feel like I should kiss somebody every time this rolls over. I'll have to call for X-Ray Chick. Okay, I'm going to start over. I'm going to reread this. I have shared this, but I'm going to reread this. Then I'm going to read. I'm just going to read. If you guys enjoy it, please enjoy. And I'm also going to stop this screen, and I'm going to share another screen, which is what you guys will be looking at when we go live, or something very similar to what you guys are going to be looking at when we go live with that. Where did it go? Oh, I think I know where it is. Let me find it real quick. I'll throw that up on screen, or actually I can throw up the picture of the book as well. But yeah, here we go. Boom. Oh, that's an older one. Let me find a newer one. Yeah, so getting the old one there. Let me go to the newer one. Apologies for the dead air. I know it's not super sweet to listen to nothing, which is probably why I only have a handful of people here. Some of you guys may have left the room to go check the kitchen, see if there's something good to eat. Some of you guys might just be driving and have, sick of the radio. Some of you guys may have fallen asleep to my lovely voice. But boom, this one right here. This is what I want to jump on here. Oh, this is the one that's not showing up. All right, forget it. We're just gonna go with the book right here. I'm just gonna zoom in on the book, and what you guys will see when we have an Amazon link up for you guys to order the book from. And then I'll jump in the reading because I've taken way too long to get into this reading. Boom. Boom. Present. There we go. There we go. So there's the book, Rings of Dust, for you guys to check out while I read for your listening pleasure. If you are driving, pull over. My voice has a tendency to lull people to sleep. So let's go from here. Here we go. And boom. After the fatal extraction of Dark X by Cole, tests were done, and it was discovered that just as the combination of mineral salts had caused the vapor to form into a denser plasma-like state, even more concentrations of salt added to Dark X would harden the substance into a stable crystal state that could be handled and used for up to 15 days. During these 15 days, scientists and engineers tried applying these crystals to every product imaginable, from medicines to apparels and electronics. But no matter what they tried, the crystals, now referred to as dark matter in their stable form, would return to the unstable form of Dark X and had to be returned to the harvester containers. That is, until one day when a lab assistant, Max, too lazy to return the crystals to the harvester all the way across the scientific complex that stretched 4 miles across. Instead, he placed them into a spent fuel cell on a colleague's desk. For good measure, he filled the fuel cell with nitrogen and sealed the cell with negative pressure in the vacuum chamber. He figured that under these conditions, a fire or explosion would be unlikely over the weekend. The following Monday, Max arrived early to keep his indiscretion a secret. To his surprise, the fuel cell had a slight charge indicated by a faint ember glow from the LED indicator that glowed inside the view glass on its surface. Even stranger, there was nothing but vapor inside the fuel cell. This should have been shared immediately with his supervisors, but he didn't want to get in trouble for disobeying protocol. Alpha Corp had a culture of harsh disciplinary action and was the last megacorp that offered health insurance and employee preference to the energy supply that was just as unstable as the Dark X he was expecting to find. Max took the fuel cell and hid it in his locker. The fuel cell continued to charge with this mysterious vapor like a terrarium fog where you look for the snake or frog at a zoo. On the 90th day, the fuel cell was fully charged and the vapor cleared up, leaving a small collection of dark matter crystals growing from its base. Even stranger, a deposit of dark matter crystals had formed around the lid. Now he knew that this information would be so valuable, his supervisors and HR would forgive him for his unsanctioned behavior and probably promote him. He took his science fair project to the director of his department, who immediately called HR and security. Within minutes, Max was stripped of his ID badge and lab coat and escorted to the parking lot. He had made one of the most important discoveries of mankind and was reeling at the thought of how to feed his family. AlphaCorp realized that the combination of nitrogen, negative pressure, and the circuits of the fuel cell made dark matter revert to its native vapor state, which emitted ever-increasing energy. Eventually, liquid nitrogen was added to the process, which accelerated the forming of the crystals around the lid to appear as soon as 9 days. Every 9 days, a new bloom of crystals would appear on some of the lids, but not all. Over the 90-day summer of these blooms, only about 5% or 1 in 20 would get bonus deposits. The randomness of this anomaly led the scientists gambling on the serial numbers of the fuel cells, holding a workplace lottery where losers had to buy junk food out of the vending machines for the winners. The other phenomenon that they discovered was that the earlier the crystals around the lid formed, the smaller the amount. Every 9 days, the deposits almost doubled. On the 90th day, when the vapor cleared up, each fuel cell would have a little seed of crystals budding in the bottom. The scientists noticed that they looked like budding roses and called the collection collecting the crystals pruning, like they were a botanist in a garden. Every 105 days, the crystals inside the fuel cell would bloom and grow. When fuel cells were damaged or faulty and lost their vacuum seal, the fuel cell would stop growing in energy. The small amount of dark matter inside the cell, if any, would be collected, and put back into production. With every series of fuel cells, there would be about a 3% loss, of dark matter. The team referred to this loss as tailings, like they do in gold mines. AlphaCorp had, of course, kept all this information to themselves. After all, what good is having the key to the future if you let others make a copy? Shareholders were about to become the wealthiest people on Earth. The stock was headed to the moon. Better yet, Saturn. So there you go. That's the whole thing right there. Now we're going to dive into a little bit more about these two new characters and kind of the whole situation going on. The Federation headquarters loomed over the city like a fortress. Its sleek lines and towering presence, a constant reminder of the power within its walls. The reflective glass casts an ominous glow over the sprawling metropolis below. Despite the late hour, the building was alive, and its occupants were driven by the pressing need to solve the deepening energy crisis. Footsteps echoed off the polished floors. The air was thick with the scent of coffee and ozone, mingling with the faint hum of machinery. The weight of the crisis pressed down on everyone. This invisible burden grew heavier with each passing moment. In a secure conference room, the atmosphere crackled with tension. The walls, lined with monitors, flickered with live feeds, data streams, and maps. Chancellor Jeffrey H. Dement presided over the meeting. His presence commanding, he stood at the head of a polished mahogany table. His fingers interlaced, his eyes scanning the room. The soft whir of the holographic projectors added a mechanical undercurrent to the silence, a reminder of the technology they were fighting to sustain. "Let's get started," Dement said, his voice slicing through the low murmur of conversation. He leaned forward, the deep lines on his face etched with the weight of the crisis. "The latest energy consumption reports are in, and the situation is worsening." It was ironic that they were racing time to collect Dark X, Saturn being the sixth planet, the number 6 representing time, also Cronus, the god of time. 666 represents time, not Satan. Time is the destroyer of everything. As he spoke, the room dimmed. A holographic display flickered to life, casting an eerie glow that bathed the attendees in cold light. A world map materialized in midair with pulsating red zones spreading like a virus, indicating severe energy shortages. The silence that followed was palpable, as if the very air had been sucked out, leaving a void filled only with the flicker of the hologram. The gravity of the situation etched itself into the furrowed brows and tight lips of those present, their faces illuminated by the stark reminder of their dire predicament. Dr. Miranda Chen, a lead scientist from Alpha Corp, leaned forward. Alpha Corp had basically taken over everything with private contracts. They held the majority of the ships in the solar system, depots, manufacturing facilities, patents on the technology. Dement had a front row seat to this unholy takeover and was secretly sympathetic to the collective, as they were the best chance to stop Alpha Corp's insatiable appetite. Just editing on the fly here. At this point, even if they overcame the dire predicament they faced, who would be able to afford power with their monopoly? Miranda's face partially obscured by the holographic light. She adjusted her glasses, the reflective surface catching the light and momentarily obscuring her eyes. Our projections show we'll face widespread blackouts without immediate intervention within 6 months. The dark matter reserves are depleting faster than anticipated. Dement nodded, his jaw set. The sleepless nights were evident in the dark circles under his eyes, shadows that seemed to deepen with each passing second. What about the new fuel cells? How soon will they be available for lease? Taylor, a Federation crew chief that had been working closely with Alpha Corp on the fuel cells, shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The fuel cells require a 90-day stabilization period before deployment. Our current reserves are insufficient for mass production. We need more Dark X from Saturn and additional resources from Mars. The harvesting window is closing, and the next opportunity is uncertain. Sounds like someone's itching for deployment, Dement said wryly. The holographic display shifted, now showing a timetable of harvesting windows, each marked with critical deadlines. The silence of the room grew heavier, the enormity of their task sinking in like lead weight. Faces around the table tightened further, eyes darting from one red-marked date to the next, a grim parade of looming failures. The weight of unspoken fears hung in the air, thick and oppressive. Sam, a seasoned data technician with a sharp mind, leaned back in her chair, her eyes narrowing thoughtfully. We've been exploring alternative sources, including the dark matter accumulations on the exterior of the fuel cells. However, without the proprietary information from A Corp, we're unable to keep the dark matter crystals stable in our fuel cells for more than 15 days. Nor have we been able to reproduce the energy production found in Alpha Corp's fuel cells. The fact that they, Sam motioned her head towards Dr. Chen and the Alpha Corp team, have access to all of the Federation's files and data, and we have no access to theirs is ridiculous. There's no way we're going to solve this energy crisis without cooperation. Frustrated, she leaned back in her chair, taking a deep breath and biting her tongue before she said something she couldn't take back. It's been well established that Alpha Corp has every right as a private company to keep their patents and data secure, Taylor interjected. Sam shot him a look of anger. She should have known he would align with the corporation. They are our partners in tackling the energy crisis, and we're very thankful for their help and resources, Taylor continued, as if he were campaigning on the Senate floor of ancient Rome. It would be nice for them to share even more of their breakthroughs so that the Federation could join them in research and development of fuel cells with more capacity. Sam was not about to let A Corp's little bitch defend them in the Federation's control center. Dr. Chen gave an insincere smile from across the room. I'll mention that in the next shareholders meeting and see if the board can be more open with our patents. Taylor's fingers drummed defiantly on the table. I think we can all agree that the answer is more Dark X to increase production of the fuel cells. The room fell silent again. The danger Dark X imposed was not to be taken lightly. Safety measures had to be taken when handling the harvesters, even with the processing done off-planet at one of Alpha Corp's many space station processing plants. There was a risk of not being able to use the dark matter crystals during their 15-day stable period. The Federation would have to ship the crystals back up to A Corp space station to be processed with large amounts of salt, copper, and lead before they could be handled in any safe way. Funny how A Corp usually only sent their tailings back to the space station and had an almost 97% success rate when applying the crystals to their fuel cells. Sam was sick of failing at their experiments. If A Corp would just tell them how they got the crystal back into vapor state manufacturing, could ramp up and the demand for power would be alleviated, at least for now. DeMint turned to Sam, who had been closely monitoring security reports. Sam, any updates on the security front? DeMint inquired, his tone measured but urgent. Sam cleared her throat, caught off guard by the change in topic. Yes, Chancellor, we've increased patrols around the dark matter storage facilities, but there have been reports of unauthorized access attempts. We suspect internal sabotage, possibly from elements sympathetic to the collective. They're also intercepting shipments of the older fuel cells and unsealing them for the dark matter crystals to sell on the black market. Our trackers are the only thing keeping them from stealing the fuel cells outright. The mention of the collective sent a ripple of unease through the room. The shadowy group opposing the Federation's dark matter control was a constant threat. Their disruptive actions endangered the delicate balance of the Federation aimed to maintain. DeMint's mind flashed back to the recent security breach, the chilling realization that their enemies were closer than ever. We need to tighten security further, DeMint said decisively. He tapped the table for emphasis, the sound sharp and final. We must accelerate our efforts to neutralize the collective's influence. Dr. Chen and Taylor, keep me updated with the fuel cells and pruning process. We must stabilize our energy supply. Taylor charged over to Sam, leaving his belongings at the table. There's a good chance that you and I will be tapped for this mission. You might want to try a little tact when addressing the hand that feeds us. They feed us with one hand while choking us with the other. Or in your case, pet you with the other. Nice watch, by the way. Is that Versace? You might be able to fool the brass here with your facade, but I see the rebel underneath. You're just going to get chewed up by the machine, Taylor hissed. Run along. Your masters are going. Sam glanced at the Alpha Corp members leaving the room. You're so clueless. You think the real master is even in this room? His eyes were menacing and went cold and emotionless. Sam was discouraged by the wall of greed she was trying to climb, but she was resilient. She was going to discover the solution to the fuel cell remedy. She remembered the words of Dr. Stephen Conrad, the brilliant scientist who disappeared and left a void in their research. Every failure is a step toward success, but some steps are harder to recover from. Meanwhile, the whispers of conspiracy and fear echoed through the headquarters corridors. The Federation's control over dark matter and collaboration with A Corp were subjects of hope and suspicion. Some believed the energy crisis was manufactured to consolidate power and control. The shadows seemed to lengthen as these whispers grew. Dement stood alone in the conference room, his thoughts tumultuous with determination and doubt. The stakes were higher than ever, and their choice in the coming days would shape humanity's future. He gazed at the holographic display, the red zones growing ominously. His mind wandered to the confidential reports he'd read earlier, prepared by Alpha Corp. They detailed the potential consequences of failure. Dement's trusted intelligence officer, Vance Black, entered the room with a thin folder in hand. His expression was grave. As he approached the Chancellor, "Chancellor, this just came in from our intelligence division," Vance said, his voice low but steady. "There's been movement from the collective. They're mobilizing resources, possibly in response to our latest operations." Dement skimmed the contents, his eyes narrowing as he absorbed the information. The pages contained grainy surveillance photos, intercepted communications. "We need to be ready. Increase security around all dark matter facilities." "Did you get that intel on A Corp I requested?" Vance nodded, his jaw set with determination. "I've got a team on it, sir, but do you really think that's the best use of our resources given the escalation of the collective? We can't let anything go unchecked." "Understood, Chancellor. I'll coordinate with security to implement the measures immediately." As Vance left, Dement was once more alone with his thoughts. The pieces were coming together, but the picture was of conflict and chaos. As the shadows lengthened outside, he knew the battle for dark matter and humanity's future was far from over. His responsibilities bore down on him, but there was no room for hesitation. The image of a world plunged into darkness loomed in his mind, a nightmare he was determined to prevent. In the corridors of power and Alpha Corp's hidden labs, the accurate scale of the energy crisis was unfolding. Alliances would be tested, secrets revealed, and the balance of power would shift unpredictably. As the night deepened, the Federation's headquarters lights burned brightly against the encroaching darkness. Each light in the building seemed to represent a glimmer of hope. Ta-da! All right, so that's the end of that chapter. I do have some more to read about our two characters, Sam and Taylor, and we'll get into that on another stream. In the meantime, we've got Disclosure Crypto. Hey there. Anything on Gary Network, buddy? Not really. I mean, I checked it out. I've joined their Telegram, but I just see a bunch of messages about trading bots in their Telegram. So I'm not quite sure what to do with that, as I'm not really in the arbitration game. And I haven't really checked out much of their content. But for any of you guys wondering, the Gary Network is basically a competitor, it seems, to YouTube on the blockchain, which we've kind of seen a couple of things go down trying to take on YouTube. It is very, very difficult. I mean, well, here we are on YouTube ourselves. I mean, this is where the people are. But the fact that they're owned by Google, one of the most evil corporations in our existence right here, it's going to be very, very difficult to challenge the monopoly of YouTube. We've been going for about an hour now. And like I said, if you guys want to know more about the tokenomics and mechanics, check out yesterday's stream. There's just a bunch of cool stuff there. And I'll be joining you guys again tomorrow about this time, watching the clock roll over and sharing some more information with you and answering questions and hanging out. Let me see. Take us out. Play us out with some good music here. How about... It's a song I was thinking about. I couldn't get out of my head from back in the day. This is a shout out to all of my homies all my Generation X 90s kids, you know. Very cool here. Let me actually, I'm probably gonna have to skip some commercials. All right, boom, boom. All right, here we go. We're gonna play out with a little song called Gangster's Paradise from a guy that we fondly remember as Coolio. And this, I think if you don't know this song, you've lived a blessed and sheltered life. We're going to go out here on this one. Let me stop this screen, share the other one. And yeah, I look forward to hanging out with you guys tomorrow. Let me bump this. There we go. I'm going to leave that freeze. That's a pretty good freeze.
You want to tell me what this is all about?
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying in chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been spending most of their lives living in the gangster's paradise. We've been spending most of their lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Look at the situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the state, so I gotta be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my 10 in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I'm a loped out gangster, set tripping banker. And my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Fool, death ain't nothing but a heartbeat away. I'm living life, do or die. What can I say? I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things are going, I don't know. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Power and the money, money and the power. Minute after minute, hour after hour, everybody's running, but half of them ain't looking what's going on in the kitchen. But I don't know what's cooking. They say I got to learn, but nobody's here to teach me. If they can't understand it, how can they reach me? I guess they can't, I guess they won't, I guess they front. That's why I know my life is out of luck, fool. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the
Dude, that's a banger. It's still a banger. It's so good. Maybe we should start tomorrow's with Amish Paradise from Weird Al. It's a pretty good banger. That dude's face is so sweaty on the chorus. We got Jonathan Campolo saying greatness, dang. We got a fist from Glenn, and he says, oh no. Good to see you guys here. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the reading. If you're on Replay Gang, enjoy this as well. It gets blocked in most areas from YouTube because of this music, but it is what it is. So have a great night. Love you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow.